Hey there, it's Peadee, and we are down underneath my little village where where I started my branch mine finally, and I've been working for hours. I was listening to a podcast and whatnot while I was just doing it because, branch mining can be kind of dull. Um, Done quite a few rows. I went all the way down here and then over across, and I went this way till I ran into some lava, and I just didn't feel like trying to figure out where all the lava was. But I went way down there, and then I started doing stripes this way, and anyway, I did pretty well for myself. Let's see here. Let's look at this chest here. So I've got 12 blocks of lapis plus 5. 2.5 stacks of blocks of redstone plus 3, 29 blocks of iron plus 4, 22 diamond ore, which I don't have a fortune pick yet, but I have 40 levels if you look down there. So, and tons of coal, and I used the heck out of my work pick. Actually, I'm gonna leave this soak touch down here, so let's just plop that in there. Yeah, I'm a little worried about my village because I kind of just let them, on their own. I also made a quick drop. Oops, you have to go like this. Oh, come on, get up. There we go. And a ladder deal, so I can just jump down. It's no big deal. And then I can just press W to go up once I get going, instead of doing that ridiculous loop-de-loop that I did when I was mining my way out one time. And boom. Okay. First things first, let's go check to see if the village is okay. I see all the doors looking tight. Oh, and I've been working for hours off camera. I finally undid this what used to be my farm, and I made it into a house, and they loved jumping in the water, so I gave them like a little jacuzzi thing here. And then we go upstairs, and then there's some more rooms and whatnot. Excuse me, gentlemen. And you can see that got a lot of doors in here, which they like. I used fence posts for windows instead of glass. I left the doors that I had stuck in there once anyways. Now it's a little too close, in my opinion. It's a little too close to this building, but this building is a little too far away from the street corner now that we narrowed the plaza. So I think what I'm gonna do is make this bump up this like 3 blocks, 1, 2, 3, and then take out 2 blocks here maybe, and hopefully that will maybe 3 blocks. I don't know. We'll figure it out. And yeah. So there's a little bit of a light glitch right here in these single fence posts for some reason. I'm not sure why. I mean, and also like the double ones. I don't know. Whatever. I'm not too worried about it. I had a little bit of a population explosion. Of course, because of all the new doors and stuff. Oh wait, my other diamonds are in here. Doesn't matter actually. Let me just put them in like that. Well, I think I'm just going to try to craft another table here, another pick. So I'm going to put that there. Those 29 blocks. There's dirt. I threw that in once, I think, because I was in a hurry. I've got 40 levels. Let's put all this redstone away. Oh, and I forgot about the gold and the lapis, of course. Lapis, gold. So, I mean, we've got a pretty good treasury. I mean, if you include I think it's 30 in total. I need some wood anyway, so let's just go over and look. Let me eat a potato. Let's see, this one, yeah, so 8 more. Oh, also, accidentally clicked the trade option with one of the villagers, and I noticed he had bottles of enchanting. So, and I had 8, or I had 8 or 9 emeralds. So I traded as many as I could to get all his bottles of enchanting. He capped me at 24, and then he switched to 3 emeralds for 1 redstone, or 3 redstone for 1 emerald, or something ridiculous like that. I mean, wood. I forgot wood. Oh, let's see here. Well, there we go. That'll give us plenty of handles. Oh, there's a little baby right there, zipping through, being obnoxious. So I need to repair this diamond pickaxe, but let's see if we can get lucky and get a fortune pick first. Oh, I forgot to build the pick. And we can level up with the bottles of enchanting to try to get. I'm just laughing because of the little runts running around. Okay. Now that 2-line thing didn't work for me last time, so well, gosh, I want to click on that one. I want to click on this one. If this is another work pick, I'm going to be very sad. Another silk touch. Damn it. Don't need a silk touch pick. Crap. Well, now we have 2 silk touches. What are the odds of that? Come on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to craft 1 more pick. And we'll see. I've actually never used a bottle of enchanting. I think it just gives you XP, right? So I'm going to see how much XP it gives you. Oh, it's a splash potion. Okay, so I got 19 levels. Not enough to enchant with. Damn it. So let's put that away. Well, I guess I will cut away and maybe I'll go to that spider spawner and see if I can get another 11 levels, and I'll see you in a little while. Maybe I'll breed my cows too. Anyway, I'll talk to you in a little bit when I get 30 levels again. Hey there, little visitor in my underground. Come on, you. I almost have no ender pearls, so, and I still don't have any. It's so annoying. What's it gonna cost to? What's it gonna take to get some ender pearls in this joint? I have 1 ender pearl, and I only found it by happenstance because an enderman died because it was raining. I've killed dozens of endermen. Okay, let me put this away. So, what I did is I enchanted my Bane of Arthropods. I just checked, and in order to repair my work pick, the one that's efficiency 4, unbreaking 3, I'm going to have to have 30 levels. So that's a lot of levels. So basically, I'm going to have to where are you? I hear you. There must be a non-spawned guy. I also have an idea for fixing the spawner a little bit, but I'll have to dig a lot lower, so I'm not really too worried about it yet. Look at all these slimies. Come on. Come on. Take your medicine. Take your medicine. Give me your XP. These are my cousins, you know. Here. I'm a slime texture. I just grabbed this. Someone else made it. I really should make my own because it always bothers me that the eyes aren't like the pale green. They're like dark green, you know. Let's see. I kind of want to make it more. I just haven't time to play with it in Photoshop. I mean, I started to one day and I was like, ugh, I have too many other things to do. Because oh, hi. Here, let's try this new Bane of Arthropide sword. Boom, 2 hits. Not as good as I hoped. What I want to do basically is make this room bigger and then make it so all the water channels to a middle, and make like a 3x3 square around the hole, and then have everything drop down in the middle. And then anytime that a spider spawns on top of the spawner, I'll have a dispenser that shoots an arrow, and I can just press the button and it'll shoot an arrow and it'll knock him off and push him into the water. So that's a project for another day. But I'm gonna turn off the spawner and I'm gonna go get some XP. And I was watching back on the video, and it's very obvious that what happened was a creeper just walked in on me and blew up behind me. And he did not spawn inside the spawning area, so that's good news, I guess. Look how fast they are. Oh my gosh. Why are you beating me up so much? And of course you immediately go to where I can't get you, you annoying piece of junk. But I would go ahead and do that spawner idea, but or the dispenser, but I don't have enough arrows. Oh, come on. Alright, well, I'll see you in a little while. It shouldn't take me too long to get up to 30. Okay, so I got my 30 levels. It took a little longer than I thought, but no problem. I'm going to turn off the spawner as best as I can. It doesn't quite turn off all the way because there's some dark corners, but it'll turn off enough to finish up these last couple guys. Come on, die. There's one more. There's something interesting I never noticed about spider behavior before. When they're above you and you go towards them, they go to the other side of this little block or whatever you want to call it. I just thought that was interesting. Here, I'm gonna see if there's anything to pick up over here. Yeah, I had a bunch of XP, as I suspected. Okay. I thought it wouldn't go back. Here, let's go out this way. I left a little dirt door here. Usually I don't do XP farms exclusively with spawner. I'll make like a hybrid thing where like I'll trigger the spawner, but I'll also have a I'll go ahead and leave some dark platforms so that regular mobs will get in the mix, so I don't just get one type of drop. You know, I'll get all the kinds of drops. Maybe not at a great rate, but you know, like in one of my old worlds that I never had on the LP, I did I had a zombie spawner, and basically I was getting creepers and skeletons and whatnot in it as well. Worked out pretty well. I'm just making sure I don't have anything I want to bring upstairs. So, I'm going to tell you a story. It's going to take a while. So I'm going to tell you a story about how I went on a date with a crazy stripper. You may or may not know, but I lived in Mexico for several years, and I made friends there and whatever. And one of my friends was getting married, and they threw a bachelor party. And of course, you know, bachelor parties and strip clubs kind of go hand in hand, so eventually we ended up at a strip club, and we had just about every woman working in the place. sitting with us, and one of the girls took a shine to me and, you know, was like, oh, why aren't you married yet? Do you have kids? You know, that kind of stuff. And I said, well, don't rush me, I just met you, you know, ha ha ha, you know. Like implying that she was asking me to marry her, you know. But she thought that was cute or whatever, and so I ended up getting her phone number, and I'm not the kind of guy that dates strippers. I mean, really. I mean, you know, no offense to strippers, but it's, you know, it's not like part of my regular lifestyle or whatever, you know, strip clubs and whatnot. And so I didn't really think much about it, but she called me and she's like, hey, what are you doing for New Year's Eve? And I didn't have any plans really, and I said, well, I'm not doing anything. She said, okay, well, you're gonna take me out, and we'll go out and we'll have fun for New Year's Eve. And I was like, okay. But she lived about 45 minutes away, so she basically said, you know, oh, and get a hotel room, you know, wink wink, right? I was like, well, you know, you never know, right? So I got there on, you know, New Year's Eve in the early evening, like around 6 or something, and I picked her up from her parents' house in some neighborhood that, you know, I wasn't familiar with. And she, this is for that, it's gonna be for that dispenser, so I can knock off those spiders off of here eventually. Let's see. Oh, I guess there's no flint to put away. So, you know, we go out to this bar, and it's like a restaurant slash bar, and it's not like a really nice bar, and it's not really, it doesn't have it. I mean, it's a fine place, you know. It was kind of like a Denny's with a bar, basically. I mean, that quality, which, you know, in Mexico, not in Mexico City, but in Mexico in general, kind of almost passes as like a nice place, you know. You know, because it's got, you know, tables and lighting and whatnot, and it's not like card tables and stuff, you know, it's not like super low budget. And I keep on looking at my inventory because I'm trying to figure out what I'm doing, but well, I'm gonna go fix that. Oh yeah, I forgot I left it in here. Lost. So we go to this place and we start having drinks, and I didn't know this about her, but it turns out she was like a terrible alcoholic. I mean, I just assumed. There we go. One work pick fixed. We're out of XP. I just assumed that, you know, because she worked in this environment where, you know, she would drink drinks and stuff like that, that she kind of knew how to drink. And when I say know how to drink, if you're under 21, if you're under an adult, look, like an older person knows what I mean when I say know how to drink. Because knowing how to drink doesn't mean opening your mouth and pouring as much vodka into your body as inhumanly possible. You know, that's not knowing how to drink. Knowing how to drink means that, you know, you know how to pace yourself, you know when you're on the edge of having too much to drink, and, you know, and you don't get sloppy. I only drink when I'm with friends or whatever, you know, just to kind of make myself more social, because I'm a nerd and I don't know how to, like, be social without alcohol. You know, there's just there's no real sense in like, you know, I'll have like 2 or 3 drinks an hour, maybe maybe 4 drinks if I'm like really feeling kind of crazy or something, you know. But I mean, I'm never like the guy that like needs to have a cab called for him or you know, blacks out. That's just not my style. You know, that's not the way I roll. And I think I've got one lone cow here. Okay, they are breeding, right? Okay, got 5 levels out of that. Let's just do one more sweep for XP. So she was just like putting away the drinks, and I'm like, okay. And then she's like like really putting away the drinks, and she's just starting to get kind of like randomly ridiculous, you know. And I was like, you know, maybe we should slow down a little bit, because you know, I didn't want her to be completely obliterated, you know, either. You know, I was trying to get to know her and whatever, and so she goes to the bathroom, and it's just turned midnight, and you know, New Year's, whatever, and then she's like, oh, this girl's boyfriend works here at the restaurant, and we're gonna go hang out at their house after they get off work. And I was like, oh, okay, you know, because I kind of was expecting us to, you know, go to my hotel room and whatever, and because that was sort of what we've been talking about. But I was like, oh, okay, you know, whatever, you know, she wants, because I assumed that she knew this girl, and so we get in the car and we follow them to their house, and we go to this apartment, and we're kind of just hanging out, listening to music, and they're like, I don't know what she told them, but she's like, oh, how did you guys meet? And she's like, oh, well, we've been dating for 8 years, and we have a kid together. And I mean, and this girl, literally, I've seen her twice in my whole life, you know, and I met her at a strip club, right? So I was like, why is she saying this stuff, right? And, but, you know, I'm not going to argue with her or whatever, so I just, like, was keeping quiet. And she's like, oh, how old are you? And she's like, 21. And they're like, look at me again. Uh-oh. I guess I did have a little visitor. We must have had a zombie invasion after all. Let me go upstairs and see if there's any more damage. Okay. So I was like, so basically she's saying, I started dating this girl when she was 13, and I was like, no, right? You know, and then so they're kind of looking at me weird, and I was like, you know, and so I just kind of like made a weird face, you know what I mean? Like, kind of like, and then I think the girl caught on that, like, you know, like, the girl was not like, you know, because she was kind of drunk, and she was like, oh, okay, whatever, you know, maybe this girl's confused or whatever, you know. And so I don't know what happened. I went to the bathroom, and when I came out from the bathroom, she was cursing at this couple, these young couple. They were like in their early 20s or whatever, and like telling them to go fuck themselves, and excuse me, you know, whatever, just being very, very aggressive, and you know, she was like spilling her drink everywhere, and because we had gotten some beers or whatever, because you can get alcohol very easily even after hours. I don't know if there are technically hours in Mexico, you know, but even if there are, you can just knock on the local shop's door, and if the shopkeeper lives in the same building, they'll just sell you the beer, you know, so it was no big deal. But so she's just like going crazy, right? And I'm just like, okay, we're gonna leave, thank you so much for your hospitality, here, keep the rest of the beers. You know, there was like 8 beers left or whatever, you know, and I'm like, just keep them, there's no big deal, sorry, you know, she drank a little too much. And they're like, okay, it was great meeting you, bye. So I start driving, and oh shit, I thought it was dark already. It's still pretty early. I mean, it's nighttime, but it's not early enough to sleep. So she's like, I gotta go to the bathroom, and we're about a mile away from hey, there was a guy in here. We're about a mile from the hotel, and I was like, can you wait, you know, like 10 minutes? And she's like, yeah, okay. And I'm like, okay. So we get about a half a mile. She's like, I gotta go to the bathroom. And I was like, yeah. And I was like, look, we're almost there. We have like 6 more blocks. And she's like, oh, okay. And we get like, oh, look, he came in. Hello. So we're at a light, and I am literally just feet from the hotel. Like, there's a red light, there's like an empty parking lot, like a dirt lot, and then there's the entrance to a hotel. It's, you know, like a medium budget, lower budget hotel, whatever, you know. And I was like, look, there's a hotel right there. And she just gives me a funny look. And then I realized she's just peed in the seat. I had this pickup truck, and it had like a bench seat as opposed to bucket seats. You know, like you know, it was like a bench. You know, like 3 people could sit on it at once, and it had plastic, you know, like whatever, vinyl seats as opposed to cloth seats. And so I had a towel in the back behind the pickup truck's, you know, seat or whatever. So I pick up the towel and I pull over like in the empty dirt lot, and I was like, okay, get the hell out of the car, you know, finish peeing. And she's like, at this point, she's just like completely miserably blitzed. I mean, she just does not know what's going on. She's like staggering, so and whatever. So I just like leave her squatting in the dirt parking lot. I like pour water on the, like I had a bottle of water, so like I pour water on the seat and with the towel, and I kind of like wipe it off or wash it off or whatever you want to say. And I'm like, you know, just like, it's like, oh, this is gonna be a great night, right? So I go ahead into the hotel, and I take her to the room, because I'm like, okay, well, I'll at least clean her up, right? And so I start a shower running, and she's like, and I'm like, hey, you're gonna take a shower, okay? And she's like, okay. And then so I'm gonna branch mine a little while. So I was like, take a shower, please. And she's like, but she's too drunk, right? So I like start filling up just the bathtub, and I'm like, well, you know what? I'm just gonna make her sit in the bathtub or whatever, and she'll get cleaned up, and you know, close enough, right? So the bathtub is like, you know, almost filled, and I'm asking her stuff like, do you like the water hot? Do you like it warm? And she's like, I don't know, you know. And I'm like, okay. So like 2 minutes go by, and oh, looky. 2 minutes go by, and oh crap, I did not mean to do that. I wanted to use my silk touch. Oh well. What I'm doing is I'm mining out all the blocks around it in case there's lava or anything, and that way I can avoid that and not have, looks like a 4-pack here. Yeah. There's more slimes somewhere. So so I'm like, she's like her eyes are rolling out in the back of her head and stuff like that. I mean, she's like completely just gone, right? And I was like, hey, bath's ready. And so I started buttoning her blouse, and I like unzipped, like her skirt had like a side zipper or whatever, right? And so I'm like I unzip that, and I start taking it to the bath, and the shower's running too, and we get like 5 steps away from the bathtub, and she's like, what the F are you doing? You know? And I was like, well, you're gonna take a bath now. And she's like, where am I? What's going on? And like she just like totally like was freaking out, right? And I was like, hey, you had a lot to drink, remember? And we were in the car, and you peed yourself. She's like, why am I all wet? Why are my clothes off? What have you even doing? You know? And she starts like going crazy, right? And I'm like, hey, calm down. It's okay, you know, it's cool. Look, don't you remember you needed to go to the bathroom, and then you accidentally peed yourself? And she's like, what the you know? And she's just not making any sense, but all she knows is that like, what's going on? And she's just like freaking out, right? And I was like, look, you gotta calm, you know. And I didn't want to explain to, oh crap, I was gonna make a shovel. I didn't want to have to explain to the police or the hotel management or whoever that, you know, what was going on with this girl, because I didn't even like know her enough to like, you know, like fully know like anything about her, you know what I mean? Like if they're like what's her birthday or anything like that. I didn't know any of that stuff, you know what I mean? So I was not I was a little nervous about her, you know, causing a scene. So I was like, hey, you know, just calm down. Look, you know, and I'm getting, trying to be calm, but I'm getting irritated, you know, because she's just like pushing me and trying to hit me, and she's like, what the hell is going on? And it's like, look, you know, don't you remember you pissed all over my car seat and blah, 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 blah. And she's like, I don't know what you're talking about. And I was like, one thing I do when I'm mining diamonds, I always put my equipment and my diamonds back, even though it's a little bit of a walk. So she's like, you know, and she's just freaking out, right? And I'm like, okay, this is like no longer worth it to me. Where are the rest of the diamonds? Did I not pick them up? I thought there were 4 blocks. So, oh, whoops. So she's like having like this freak out, right? And I was like, look, you gotta calm the hell down. And then finally, she's just like, just being like crazy. But remember, she's like completely drunk, right? So like, she would take a swing at me, and then she would like fall off. Like she was sitting on the bed, and she would take a swing on me, and she'd fall onto the floor. And then she'd be like, you know, and then like starting to cry because she fell on the floor and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And it just like had like bad, bad scene written all over it, right? I mean, so I'm like, look, you know, you gotta calm down. And she's like, I don't wanna, you know, blah, 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 and what are you trying to do to me? And, you know, and I'm just like, you know what, this is no longer worth it. And I was like, put your effing clothes on. You know, I'm taking you home. You know, you're too drunk. I can't deal with you anymore. And she's like, good, you know, I'm glad or whatever. And I'm like, okay, bye, you know, get out of my life. And she's like, so I kind of, you know, I get her like button up her blouse, but like, you know, one button, you know, it's like one button's, you know, it's like mismatched buttons. Like one button is higher than, you know, on the wrong buttonhole, and so, you know, she's like looks, and her, you know, her face is half wet from halfway being in the shower, so her makeup's all runny, and you know, and her hair's all disheveled, and her skirt's turned around, and she's a wreck. You know, I mean, like the worst drunk person you've ever seen. You know. That was her basically, and so I'm like, okay, get in the car, and say, okay, where do you live again? Because you know, I didn't know. This is pre-Google, you know, GPS on your phones and things like that. So at least in Mexico, and so she's like, it's like, I don't know. I was like, well, what's the neighborhood called? And she's like, you know, whatever the neighborhood, you know, because like basically a lot of neighborhoods in Mexico, you know, that's sort of how you know like what area it is or whatever. So she's like, oh, it's this such and such neighborhood. So I figure out where such and such neighborhood is, and I was like, okay, I said, we're on this street. Is that close to your house? She was like, yeah, just go straight down here. And then, so it takes us like 40 minutes to find her house because she doesn't want to help or whatever. And so, like, we're driving, and then she's like, it's like, oh, we're almost at my house. She goes, hey, aren't we supposed to go to the hotel? And I was like, oh, oops. I was so distracted telling my story, I forgot to watch out for lava. That is why, kids, you do not carry your diamonds on you when you get diamonds. Let's see. And I was like, you got to be kidding, right? And she's like, no, let's go to the hotel. And I'm like, look, it's been kind of a bad night. You peed on yourself. And she's like, what? And you know, whatever, you know. And I'm like, look, it's all right. We'll do this another time. And she's like, oh, okay. And then so it takes me another 10 minutes or so to finally find, oh crap, her house. But in the meantime, she's like passed out again, right? And I'm like, hey, wake up. We're at your house. And she's like, not responding to me at all. I was like, wake up, we're at your house, and she's just not at all responding. Let me just see where this is. Okay. And then she's like, you know, just like dead asleep, basically passed out, whatever you want to say. And so I like try to pull her out of the car, you know, and I'm trying to like, you know, hoping she'll kind of wake up when we get towards her front door. And I was like, okay, where's your key? And she's like, I don't have a key. Just knock on the door. And I'm like, oh boy, right? And so she can't stand up. So I basically just lay her down on the front lawn, right? And I start knocking on the door. And I'm knocking and knocking, and she's just basically passed out on the front lawn again. And I'm knocking for like 8 or 10 minutes, right? And finally, her dad. You know, I didn't meet her parents. The other time, you know, when I picked her up, all they did was like basically call her and said, "I'm in front of your house," and that was it, right? And she came out. So I'm like, I have your daughter, and he looks, and there's like this girl with just a hot mess, right? I mean, just like, you know, passed out on the front yard, her blouse is misbuttoned, her makeup's all smeared, her hair's a wreck, and I was just like, it's like, you know, I am out of here. You know, I'm just gone. I don't want to deal with it anymore. You know, this girl kind of just ruined my whole night, you know, and with her craziness and, you know, making me go to some stranger's house and all this stuff, and I was like, ugh, whatever, right? So, like the next, like 2 or 3 days later, she calls me. It's like, hey, I had a really good time. When are we gonna hang out again? And it's like, oh well, you know, I'm really busy and whatever. So, I've just pushed her off a couple more times, and then I guess she got the hint and gave up on me, right? So fast forward 2.5 years. I didn't say 2.5 months. I said 2.5 years, right? So one day, out of the blue, I get this call from her. She's like, hey, can you tell me what this, song lyrics mean in English? And I was like, what song? And she's like, oh, it's on the radio. It's like, you know, whatever. La 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 la, you know, and I'm like, you know, I really don't listen to radio, so I don't know. She's like, oh, but, you know, this song, you know, it's like la 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 la, and I'm like, yeah, I'm sorry, I have no idea. I just don't listen to the radio, you know, whatever. And she's like, oh, okay. And then, so, about 3 weeks later, I was running some errands, and my girlfriend gives me I lived with my girlfriend at the time, and she gives me this funny look, and she goes, I just got a phone call. And she's like, I was like, yeah? And she's like, yeah, it's this girl, and she asked for you. And then when she asked me who I was, and she said, well, I'm Peadee's girlfriend. How can I help you? And she said, you can't be Peadee's girlfriend. I'm Peadee's girlfriend. And then called her some very bad words. You know, several bad words. And then, you know, my girlfriend at the time just hung up on her. And she's like, I was like, so I look at the number and I see the area code is this this number from the city that's like 45 minutes away. I was like, oh, you remember that girl I told you about New Year's Eve? And she's like, yeah. And I said, that's the New Year's Eve girl, being like randomly being a crazy, you know, butthole. and yeah, so that was me dating a stripper. So don't date strippers, or at least make sure they're not alcoholics. It's kind of funny now because enough time has passed, but it was really annoying at the time. I was so mad at that girl. But she was just a big mess. I mean, who would call like after 2.5 years and then be like, oh, I'm gonna mess up this guy's relationship just because I feel like it. I don't know. I have a lot of stories about Mexico, but a lot of them are not safe for work, so to speak. And yeah, so I'll have to think about it and see if I can tell another one some other time. But I wanted to actually talk about branch mining because, you know, I've played with some younger players and whatnot, and a lot of people have heard of branch mining, but they really don't understand it or whatever. So, oh crap. I thought maybe, I mean, forgive me if you know all about branch mining or whatever and you're an expert, but I'm going to do a little tutorial on the theory of branch mining, and I'm going to cut away and we'll go upstairs and, where the hell am I? This is like part of the explored caverns here. This is the branch mine. Yeah, so I'm gonna cut away and I'll see you in a couple minutes. Hey, we're back on the surface, and I'm just gonna give a quick demonstration of the theory of branch mining. And forgive me if you already understand it, but like I said, a lot of younger players don't seem to quite grasp what the importance is. Basically, what I do is I'll go like 75 blocks one direction, and then turn right or left, or it doesn't really matter, and then go about another 75 blocks, and then turn again and go another 75 blocks, and then I turn again, and what I basically do is make a square, and then I start doing stripes. Now, a lot of inexperienced people will go every other, will go every other one. And but you're kind of wasting your time if you go every other one, because you can go every second one and you can get the same results, because basically if I dig this out, I'm going to see anything that's on this wall, and I'm going to see anything that's on this wall. So basically and then what you do is you go down one layer, and then you dig right underneath here. And well, let's before I skip ahead. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is, see where I have these torches set? That's where we're gonna dig, and I'm just gonna show you how it works. Now, everyone that has a lot of diamonds, see, and I'm using pump jack-o'-lanterns as diamonds, or what, doesn't matter, it can be iron or whatever. Different blocks appear on different levels. Level 16, this is the end of our mine here. Level 16. Now see, if I went right here. Here, let's just, for the sake of it, let's go here. See, I uncovered the same one that I already saw right here. Okay, so that was a wasted effort. I didn't see this one. But watch what happens when we if we dig out this one. I see it anyway. So there's really no sense in digging every other one, because basically you're digging twice as many blocks as you need to. And of course, once you start finding ore, you know, you dig it out, and then, you know, a lot of times, well, of course there's gravel there, but you know, once you start finding ore, you start digging it out, and then you follow the vein, and so it doesn't matter if you go over a little bit. But basically, when you're on your next layer, let's say diamonds are from level 16 to 12, right? Alright, 16 to 1, excuse me. Level 12 is the theoretical sweet spot statistically where the most diamonds will be found. Because it's sort of like a bell curve. And so a lot of times people will start their branch mines right like around a level 10 or 12. Also, you want to be above the lava layer if you can help it. So now let's pretend that those holes I just dug are actually 2 blocks above here. What that means is, like, here, let me go up here for a second. Okay, so basically, like, this is one of the tunnels we dug here, and this is the other tunnel we dug. Okay, so those have been dug out. But now what we could do is we could just dig right under them, but we might miss something that's in the skipped block layer, right? So what we do is we go down 2 blocks. It's like this is the floor of the original mine. This is our new ceiling now. So what we do is we skip over 1 block from the previous mine, and now we start digging out here so that we can find anything that we might have missed in the other layer. Because we're going to see whatever was here, which was covered with rock, because that's here, right? And then we're going to see the walls of either side. So basically we're getting more coverage for our digging. Anyway, so that is the basic idea of branch mining. But basically you want to have like a simple square, so that your tunnels will have an end, because otherwise you might be digging to infinity, because it's not always very practical just to dig 1,000,000 miles in one direction, because it's just easier to mine out a chunk, and so you kind of, you don't have to do 75, you can do 50, you can do 100, you can do 200, whatever you're comfortable with. But what you want to do is make sure that you have enough, I really wanted this to be 3 wide, it's only 2 wide. You have enough time to cover an entire area, and then be sure to light it up, because you don't want creepers going through. But basically you want to have a tunnel going this way and this way, and that way all the areas, like this would be just exposed rock, right? The gravel in this case would be air, and this is the exposed rock. So basically you want this. Yeah, and that's the way everyone that you see on YouTube gets diamonds. I mean, of course they'll find loose diamonds, when they're walking through a cave or whatever. But you can't just explore 1,000,000 caves. It's not time efficient. It's not. It's just not a practical way to find diamonds. I mean, that's how do you get 1,000,000 picks just by happening upon diamonds? I mean, you can lose your equipment, things like that. What you want to do is get in an area that you've got under control, that's well lit, that you're not going to have mobs dropping down on you every 5 seconds, and dig out your resources that way. That's how everyone that is a YouTuber that's famous, Etho, B00, Generic B, anyone from Minecraft or any of the major guys, that's that's what they do off camera mostly. In order to get all those diamond suits and all those diamond tools and things like that, they're not like exploring new caves every day. They do that for fun. but they're all branch mining to get their resources, unless they're specifically saying they're not. But everyone does. That's how you get your equipment, you know? That's what makes... Once you get a fortune pick and you branch mine, I mean, basically you have infinity diamonds, you know? Because you saw how quickly I was running through those stone blocks, right? Basically, it was just one hit to take out a stone block, you know, 1 or 2 hits. So it's super fast. It was as fast as this iron shovel is through dirt. And yeah, so that is my tip of the day. Like I said, I played with a couple people on servers, and none of them knew how to branch mine. You know, I mean, they'd heard the term, but they kind of didn't know what they were doing. So now you do. So now you can be the cool person on your server that has all the diamonds, or in your LP, or just in your own world that has all the diamonds, because you know how to branch mine, and you will have tons of diamonds. I don't have tons of diamonds. Why? Because I don't have a frickin' fortune pick. I need a fortune pick so bad. But I will see you next time, and thanks for watching, and be sure to subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and follow me on Twitter. It's just like the channel name, @Peadee Games. And thanks so much. Click like. Peadee out.